Hey y'all, thanks for joining us for this month's Shiloh Saturday. Today we're going to be highlighting different types of plants and animals found throughout the Arkansas Ozarks using video that explores the Shiloh Museum and Ozark Natural Science Center's grounds. Depending on their location, certain plants and animals are active or inactive during different times of the year. Today's video is a compilation of footage filmed during the months of July and October. So let's see what different types of plants and animals can be found during the summer and the fall in the Arkansas Ozarks.
Here at the Shiloh Museum, we have a lot of plants growing, a lot of different types of plants, and we're trying to go with native plants as much as we can. So we're going to talk about some of our native plants, but first I want to tell you about a plant that's very important this time of year for monarch butterflies. The monarch migration has been going on for the last month, 5-6 weeks that it started. And right now, this time of year, the very tail end of it, the stragglers, the ones that just came out of chrysalis, are trying to get down to Mexico, and it's important that they have a nectar source. And this Mexican sunflower, which is Tithonia rotundifolia, is a very important plant, very important nectar source. It's not a native plant. It's just an annual, so it's not invasive. It can't get out of control. But these plants will grow up to 6, 7, 8 feet tall and have an incredible amount of blooms on them, which is, again, very important for all pollinators, but especially the monarch butterflies that are trying to get down to Mexico for the winter. Overall, a native plant is a plant that it's a perennial. It comes back year after year, and it's always been found to be growing in this area. A plant native to northwest Arkansas is a plant that has grown here as far as we can see back. As far as we know, it's always been growing here. And those plants are the plants that are usually closely associated with insects, all the insects and the animals that need the plant, that need to utilize the plant. They kind of build up a little ecosystem around these native plants. And the native plants are hardier, they're easier to grow, and it's just a very important plant to have for a whole lot of reasons. But not all non-native plants are a bad thing, such as the Mexican sunflower we talked about. It's just something that we can add into our landscaping to help out the monarch butterfly and any other pollinators. And again, there's no danger of this being invasive because it's just an annual plant, but we do try to avoid plants that could potentially become invasive. Another plant, one of my favorite plants, trees that grows here, is the pawpaw. As a kid, I used to go out in the woods. We'd go looking for them and find them and eat ourselves sick on them, pretty much. But it's Asimina triloba. They like to grow in the shade, kind of rocky soil, hillsides, river bottoms too. They will do in a river bottom where the soil's a little better, but they produce a fruit that's, there have been a lot of songs written about it, way down yonder in the pawpaw patch and picking up pawpaws. But this time of year, especially in the Ozarks, in the past, before we had bananas and a lot of fruit shipped in, the pawpaw was a very important part of even the culture back then, because people gathered to harvest the pawpaws and make all kinds of things out of them. There are some medicinal uses for the pawpaw tree also. Along those lines, the witch hazel. Witch hazel is an incredible tree. It's also known as a maidenhair tree. This has been it's used as an astringent. Again, the bark and the leaves ground up. It's a kind of a homeopathic use, but people use it for astringents, for cleaning, for acne. It's just an assortment of stuff. The witch in witch hazel has nothing to do with Halloween. The word wish is an old word that means bendable or flexible. And the witch hazel tree was used as divining rods because it was bendable, and it was just a very popular wood to use for diviners to find a place to dig a well. Incredible tree, easy to grow. One of our oldest trees on the ground is the ginkgo biloba. It's this tree has not changed in somewhere around 270 million years. They found fossils of this tree as it is, that old. It's the oldest genus of trees that are still alive today. Ginkgo is supposed to help with, it's a medicinal plant. Native Americans used it for a lot of things. It's supposed to help your memory. I should be eating a whole bunch of these leaves daily if that's the case, but it does have a lot of uses. A very beautiful tree. And one of the things that I like about it the most is the petioles on the leaves. They form a protective layer around them in the fall. And what that means is that on the first heavy frost that we get, all these leaves are going to fall off at the same time. So the morning, every year, I look forward to seeing this in November. The first heavy frost, I'll come into work in the morning and our ginkgo tree has lost all the leaves, and these beautiful color leaves are the carpet around the base of that tree, and it's fascinating to see. An awesome tree.
Hello, naturalists. It's Ms. Lauren here.
And Mr. Matt.
And today we're going to go on a virtual field trip to check out some forces of nature. We're going to see where nature has changed the environment, and also where it is starting to recover from all sorts of exciting changes. What will we see? Who knows? I guess we'll have to find out.
So come along with us. All right, so this is an example of an early successional forest here in the Ozarks. This is an area dominated by fast-growing trees. This is where we get a lot of animals like our armadillos and our coyotes and our deer and our whippoorwills, barred owls. They like to live in the early successional forests, the areas with lots of fast-growing trees.
Here is a big old bullfrog hanging out here by the edge of the pond. Our bullfrog tadpoles are starting to gain legs. Next off, they will be losing their tails before they come out onto land. How exciting. Here we've got a little, looks like probably a ringneck snake. I'm going to try and catch him for a moment, but just wanted to show he is hanging out on some moss, an early successional species down by our creek. And here we have this guy, and we can see, look at how red his belly is. Oh, what a beautiful snake. And we just found him. He's kind of close to the water's edge. We didn't set up the audio recording for this section very well, just because we wanted to make sure to show you guys this beautiful creature.
All right, so here we have a couple of different successional stages. We have the early successional stage, which is our pioneer stage where all our grasses and stuff are coming in, some of the first things to grow. And also along the sides of this path here, we have the next successional stage, which is our shrub stage. The shrubs start to colonize and grow in after all the grasses have colonized and had some time to grow, and all these shrubs come in. Now, this area where it's grassy, the pioneer stage, this is the path that goes down to our old Rookard farmhouse. The Rookard family had a farm here in the 1930s, and they would have had to clear out forests to make room for their farm and everything. And we've since then, since they moved away, been allowing things to return to nature. But the middle section is our actual trail, so we keep that clear. And that's why you get to see a couple of different successional stages very close together. Normally, you do not really see that in nature. Successional stages of forest are usually a bit more spread apart, but here, because of us keeping this section of the path clear, you get to see a couple of different stages of succession very close together.
Here we can see a Carolina wren. He's kind of in a shrubby edge to our field. You can also hear an indigo bunting, which we'll see if he comes out in a few minutes.
We were just about to record for our old growth forest when we spotted this little snake here. I haven't gotten a close enough look to see whether he's a garter or ribbon snake, but I'm going to try and catch him too. We got this garter snake right here. He's right in the middle of a path here between the young forest and the old forest. He's found himself a little bit of sunshine though. Why might a snake want to spend more time in the sun? Ooh, a little feisty. You can see he did a little bit of a musking on my hand. That's a defense mechanism. It helps him protect himself from predators. It smells really bad.
And here, everyone, we have an example of a mature forest here. We just saw a friend a few seconds ago of a garter snake. They're an example of an animal that loves to live here. And this is pretty much what this habitat is going to look like until a disturbance again comes through and resets the whole cycle.
One of the fun plants that we have out here in this early successional stage is we actually have a couple of old honey locust trees that grow on the property, and you can see these gnarly thorns coming out of the trunk. And these thorns would have protected it from predators that lived long ago, things like mastodons and ground sloths. What might they protect the tree from now? So this right here is one snake that I am not going to attempt to pick up. This is a timber rattlesnake. And let's take a look at some of the ways that you can tell venomous from non-venomous snakes here in Arkansas. So to begin, you can see that his pupils are slit, kind of like a cat's eyes. And so non-venomous snakes around here have round pupils. You can also see his heat-sensing pits. You can see that he has a much more triangular shaped head. And I just want to point out the scales here. You can see that the scales kind of have a central line that goes down the middle of them. We call those keeled scales. And a lot of our venomous snakes around here have those as well. You can see the really, really beautiful orange stripe going down the middle of this snake's back, as well as his patterning that helps blend into the environment around it. Now, as we go down just a little bit further to the end of this snake's body, we will be able to see the rattles that help that snake avoid being harassed by predators. This is a very, very beautiful snake, and like I said before, I will not be picking him up. In fact, we're going to leave this guy right here. We're not even going to bother him because most snake bites happen because of somebody that is harassing the snake. So we're going to give this guy his space and move onwards, but he is again on the edge of the young and old forest. So, what did we see today? Lots of cool stuff, right?
Probably one of our best days so far. All kinds of cool animals and plants.
So, if you guys have any questions for us about what we saw or any comments, please feel free to reach out to us on social media at onsc.us. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us today, and happy exploring.
At Ozark Natural Science Center, we connect people with nature by offering immersion experiences. We host school programs for local 5th graders, as well as other nature educational programs for children and adults. We also rent out our cabins, apartments, event center, and campsites so guests can enjoy our beautiful wilderness. We're located near Huntsville, Arkansas, and we are Arkansas's only residential overnight science center. We have 8 miles of hiking trails within Bear Hollow Natural Area, a natural heritage property, which in turn is tucked within Madison County Wilderness Area, managed by Arkansas Game and Fish Commission.
I'm Kylie, and I want to tell you some of my favorite things about ONSC.
It's a unique way to learn about science and an experience that my friends and I will never forget.
You take hikes and learn to spot different trees and bugs.
My favorite part was when I caught a frog.
Sitting on the cliff the night hike.
We are very tangible when we are teaching. We spark their imaginations by using interactive styles of learning to teach the science standards and special topics on which teachers are wanting to focus. We keep updated on current educational methods which we use to educate all ages on stewardship and conservation of the Ozarks.
Sure, the lessons meet state standards, but they're also super fun.
Connecting what we've learned in the classroom with the real world is an educational experience we will never forget.
Most communities do not have a program like ONSC.
It's such a rare opportunity to explore, connect, and learn.
I'm often out in the community and meet fellow ONSC alum, and they are so excited to tell us about what they experienced when they came to our Science Center. And this can be 10, 20 years after they've been here.
During this time, we are offering virtual and outdoor lessons, as well as small group guided hikes to help you stay connected with nature. We are taking the necessary precautions so that you can continue learning in a safe way. I can't wait to teach you about the Ozarks and hope that you visit us soon.
Join us on our website, onsc.us, where you can find out about our virtual and on-site programs, how to support us, and how to become a member. Also, check out our social media, where you can attend virtual programs, learn more about the critters of Northwest Arkansas, and become part of our community.